Used when we thought the iPhone design had peaked. The iPhone 18 leaks are making it look like Apple is about to flip the entire lineup on its head. We're talking about a massive redesign to the display, a completely different look for the Pro models, a brand new Air iPhone, and even a rumored foldable iPhone dropping alongside them. On top of that, Apple might shake up the traditional September iPhone release schedule in a way that a lot of people are not going to like. If you're wondering whether you should wait for the iPhone 18, the iPhone 18 Pro, or a possible iPhone 18 Air before upgrading, you need to hear this. Because if these iPhone 18 leaks are accurate, the iPhone 18 series might be the first true super cycle we've seen in years, the kind of upgrade that instantly makes current phones look outdated. Let's single quotes S start with the part of the iPhone you stare at all day, the display. This is where the most dramatic, visible changes are happening, according to a new report from a very reliable leaker. Digital chat station Apple is already deep into early prototyping for the iPhone 18 lineup. And what's interesting is how specific the new screen sizes are, and how clearly Apple is dividing the standard models from the Pro models. First up, the regular iPhone 18. The base iPhone 18 is reportedly going to feature a 6.27-inch display. That's right in the sweet spot for most people. Not tiny, not a giant slab, just a very comfortable one-handable size. But the real story here isn't the diagonal measurement. It's the technology behind it. For the first time ever, the standard iPhone 18 is expected to use LTPO display technology. If you're not familiar with LTPO, it's the same kind of panel Apple has been using on the Pro models for promotion. LTPO allows for a variable refresh rate, meaning the screen can ramp all the way up to 120 Hz for buttery smooth scrolling and animations, and then ramp way down to save battery when nothing's moving. In other words, if this leak is right, the iPhone 18 will finally get a 120 Hz display. No more 60 Hz on the base model. No more, only the Pro gets promotion. From a day-to-day usage perspective, that's a huge upgrade. The phone will feel faster, more fluid, and more modern, even when you're just swiping between home screens or scrolling social media. So in terms of display performance, the iPhone 18 standard model finally catches up to what the Pro phones have had for years. Visually, though, it might still look very familiar, because the base iPhone 18 is expected to keep the current dynamic island design. So you'd still have that pill-shaped cutout at the top, with the front camera and Face ID sensors visible. So if you buy the standard iPhone 18, you're getting the speed and the smoothness of LTPO and 120 Hz, but not necessarily a radically new front-facing look. The real drama is happening higher up the lineup. That brings us to the brand new member of the family, the rumored iPhone 18 Air, sometimes called the iPhone Air 2, or just a slim iPhone 18 model. We've heard whispers about an iPhone Air or iPhone Slim for a while now, and this latest supply chain leak pretty much locks it in as part of the iPhone 18 generation. The iPhone 18 Air is reportedly going to feature a 6.55-inch display. That means it's a little larger than the standard 6.27-inch iPhone 18, but still smaller and more manageable than the huge max-size phones we're used to. Think of it as a perfect middle ground, a phone for people who want a big immersive screen, but don't want to carry a heavy brick in their pocket. Just like the base model, the iPhone 18 Air is also tipped to get an LTPO panel with a 120 Hz refresh rate. So the entire iPhone 18 lineup, not just the Pros, should finally offer that smooth, eye-refresh experience. But the main selling point of the iPhone 18 Air isn't just refresh rate or screen size. It's the form factor. Apple is reportedly pushing hard to make this device incredibly thin and light, the thinnest large-screen iPhone they've ever made. You can think of it as the MacBook Air of iPhones, a premium super portable, super comfortable device for people who prioritize weight and feel as much as raw specs. From the front, the iPhone 18 Air is likely to keep a fairly standard Dynamic island layout, just like the regular iPhone 18. So you're still looking at that pill-shaped cutout at the top, not the dramatic Pro redesign we're about to talk about. The big story with the Air is style, thinness, and comfort. Now let's move to the real revolution, the iPhone 18 Pro and the iPhone 18 Pro Max. This is where Apple is clearly concentrating its engineering muscle and design budget. According to the leaks, the iPhone 18 Pro will also use a 6.27-inch display, matching the base iPhone 18 in size. Meanwhile, the iPhone 18 Pro Max is testing a massive 6.86-inch panel, one of the largest displays we've ever seen on an iPhone. But again, the size isn't the main story. The headline is what Apple is doing to the front of these Pro models. Ever since the iPhone 14 Pro, we've had the dynamic island, that distinctive pill-shaped cutout at the top of the screen that houses the front camera and the Face ID sensors. Apple turned it into a UI element, animated it, and made it part of the experience. It was clever, but it still took up a noticeable chunk of screen real estate. With the iPhone 18 Pro and iPhone 18 Pro Max, the dynamic island as we know it is finally shrinking in a big way. The new leak claims that Apple is actively working on moving the entire Face ID system under the display. That means the infrared sensors, the dot projector, all the complex tech that scans your face would live beneath the screen itself, invisible to the naked eye. This is the under-display Face ID we've been hearing about and waiting for. For years, if Apple pulls this off, they no longer need that wide pill-shaped cutout on the Pro models. Instead, the iPhone 18 Pro and Pro Max are expected to feature just a small circular punch hole cutout for the front-facing camera. That's it. No giant pill, no notch. Just a single minimal hole at the top of the display. This is a massive design change. It means more usable screen space at the top, a cleaner, more immersive viewing experience, and a front look that finally feels like a big generational leap compared to today's phones. When you're watching videos, gaming, or just browsing, that little dot is far less intrusive than the current dynamic island dot, and from a branding standpoint, Apple is creating a very deliberate gap between the regular iPhones and the Pro iPhones. If you're holding an iPhone 18 or iPhone 18 Air, you'll still have the pill-shaped dynamic island. But if you're holding an iPhone 18 Pro or iPhone 18 Pro Max, you'll have that almost all-screen look with just a tiny punch hole. It instantly signals, this is the latest, top-of-the-line iPhone. It turns the Pro display into both a technological achievement and a subtle status symbol. But the changes don't end with the display. The iPhone 18 leaks also point to a huge shift in how and when Apple actually releases these phones. For over a decade, we've all been trained to expect new iPhones in September. It's almost like a holiday at this point. September event, new iPhone lineup, pre-orders that Friday, launch the following week. Rinse and repeat. That familiar schedule might be about to change. Digital Chat Station's report suggests Apple is seriously considering a split-release strategy for the iPhone 18 generation. Instead of launching all iPhone 18 models together in the fall, Apple could release them in waves. Here's how the rumored iPhone 18 release date window breaks down. In late 2026, Apple would focus entirely on the high-end segment. That means launching iPhone 18 Pro, iPhone 18 Pro Max, and possibly a foldable iPhone. Yes, you heard that right. A foldable iPhone. This foldable iPhone would reportedly launch alongside the iPhone 18 Pro series as part of Apple's premium flagship lineup for the holiday season. That means the late 2026 iPhone event could be all about Pro, Ultra, and Foldable, the absolute top tier of Apple's smartphone strategy. Then, the more affordable models will come later, the standard iPhone 18 and a possible budget-friendly variant. Think of something like an iPhone 18, say, or a lower-cost iPhone 18 model, are rumored to arrive in spring 2027 instead of fall 2026. The iPhone 18 Air's exact slot is less clear, but it would likely launch somewhere between these waves, possibly early 2027 as well. So what does this mean in practical terms? If this split launch strategy happens, and you're someone who usually buys the standard iPhone, not the Pro, you might have to wait months after the Pro launch before you can actually buy your iPhone 18.